Walking in your purpose will be the scariest thing that you will probably ever do in your life. The reason why I say this is because there is a lot of uncertainty when you are walking in your purpose. A lot of people often say, God, what is my purpose? How do I find my purpose? Will my purpose be revealed to me? Will my purpose be shown to me? An interesting stat says that there are very few amount of people that find out what it is that they're supposed to do in life at a young age. There's a large percentage of people that find out what it is they want to do when they reach a later point in life. Sometimes they have to go through life situations in order to figure out what it is that they like. They may have to work a couple of jobs. They may have to pivot in their career a couple of times before they actually find out and figure out what it is that they're supposed to do in their life. As a child, I've always felt like I knew what my purpose was on this earth. May have not spoke about it much, but I can definitely say that a lot of times in my life, I have shown what my purpose was. Not in like a crazy way or anything like that, but my purpose was revealed to me as a child. A lot of the times, you can find your purpose by identifying what it is that you love to do. Something that you'd do for free, right? And so for me, I love music, man. I used to make beats until 3 a.m. in the morning, knowing I had to be at school at 7:30, had to wake up at 6 to get ready and to catch the bus. But a lot of the times, man, I would make beats until 3 a.m. in the morning, knowing I had to be at school very, very early. And although I was losing sleep, I didn't feel like I was tired, you know what I mean? Because it was something that I definitely loved to do. So when it comes to my music, there has been this phase of life to where I would release music and then I would not release music for like 2 years. Then I release music and then I wouldn't release music for 2 years. It's not until I got to college is when I realized that, hey, you might actually be stumbling upon something. Like this music thing can probably take you a lot further than you think it can take you. I was scared to release my music and I don't know why. You know, my mom would always get on to me and be like, son, release your music. Son, when are you gonna release your music? Son, you've been saying you're gonna release music for years. But here's what it was. I was scared. Literally have been scared to release music and I don't know why. I don't think it's because of what people will say or how people will react. I think it was more so of what comes with music, right? Because the music industry, we all know the music industry is crazy. It's wicked, bro. And for me, I don't care about fame. You know, I've never really cared to be famous. I just wanted to live a lifestyle to where I would have freedom of time. I will say, music is one of those lifestyles to where you can have freedom of time. I don't necessarily say that I would like to be on stages in front of millions of people performing, but if the music could get placed in different things, right? In the backgrounds, writing or etc., that would be cool. But here's the thing, what led me to my purpose was, my purpose isn't just the music. My purpose is to influence, inspire people through words, through sound, to bring light into this world, right? That's what I feel like my purpose is to bring light into this world, because the world is in a scary place right now, a dark time. It is. It's in a scary and dark time right now, but I feel as if my purpose is guiding me to something greater, something bigger than myself. And I always knew that, you know, I was going to do something that was bigger than me, greater than me, and couldn't pinpoint it. But here's the thing, when you're finding your purpose, a lot of the times you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to ask yourself, are you good enough to do this thing that you love to do? Sometimes you might feel as if the market that you're in, your niche, whatever, is oversaturated, which if there is saturation in your market, that's a good thing. That just means that there are a lot of opportunities for you to do what it is that you are supposed to do. And that's one thing that I've kept in my mind. You know, sometimes you may have to transition to another city in order to find your purpose. Sometimes you might have to transition to another state to find your purpose. Sometimes you may have to transition to another country, right? You might have to pivot in your career in order to find your purpose. But you don't find your purpose unless you try different things. I feel as if you stay in one spot for the entirety of your life, how do you know that you actually served in a way that you were supposed to serve? Because you were scared to step out of your comfort zone. Purpose isn't found by staying in one place. Now, there might be a rare occasion where someone might identify their purpose a first try, but I find that hard to believe that that is the case. You have to experience things. You have to experience life. You have to change your environments, right? But when you do identify what it is that you love to do and you know that you'll do it for free, you found your purpose, right? But then there are other people that will help you identify your purpose. So there'll be other people that'll come into your life. They'll see the things that you do good with ease. And they'll be like, yo, why aren't you taking this serious? Why aren't you doing this? Like, you do this effortlessly. You do this great. You do this good. And you're telling me you're sitting on it? So let's go further, right? So if we go to the Bible, right? If you're a believer, cool. If you're not, all right. In Matthew, there is the parable about the man that gives 3 young men talents, right? Now, the talents back in those times was equivalent to currency, and your talent is actually a currency. If you think about that, your purpose is a currency, right? So he gave one man a certain amount of currency, gave the other a certain amount of currency, gave the other a certain amount of currency, and he told them to go out and multiply, right? The first person multiplied it by 5, the second one multiplied it by 3, and the other one just saved it. He buried it. He buried his talent. Now, let's transition this and translate this into modern time. If God has given you a talent, don't just sit on the talent, express the talent. The gifts that God has given you will lead you to your purpose. What gifts have you been given that you can multiply? You put it in the world and let God take care of the rest. And however it transitions to multiply, that's how it's going to multiply. You know, the man in the Bible was upset that this man did not multiply his talents and invest it and make it grow like the other 2 did. I refuse to be that person. And I hope you're not the same way, okay? So, your talents will often lead you to your purpose. Your skill sets are just, they're attachments to your talent, okay? And that is what leads you to your purpose. What is it that you love to do with ease and that you do for free? Hey man, look, I'm just a vessel, you know, this is unscripted. I just came out here, I set the camera up, and I just started talking, you know. ask God to give me the words to say. So look, if you're in need of identifying your purpose, just take something from this message that has been spoken today, and I hope that it helps you during this time of trying to identify who you are and your purpose in life. I would be lying if I said it's not scary, because as I'm currently in that state of walking in my purpose, I've moved to a whole nother state. It's quite scary. But what carries me is my faith, right? My faith carries me. Doing things like this carries me, and the support system that I have. So look, I just want to express much love to you, and may you find your purpose in life. May you touch the world may you touch the world with your gifts. The world needs what you have. Don't sit on your talents. Don't sit on your gifts, because they will lead you into purpose and lead you amongst the path that you're supposed to walk on, okay? So, much love. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, just, you know what to do. CTA, baby. Comment, like, subscribe, whatever. All right. Do say.